Hey everyone from Giza, Cairo, Egypt. Just coming on for a few moments just to show you about how ones are for the most part free here. They don't wear the masks because they don't need to. They know more or less deep. They know deep in their heart there is no reason, and they trust fully in God. And you know, there was one day not so long ago, Fem and I around here, we some different places. I just forget where it was at, but we went in and there was three gentlemen wearing masks, and we told them you don't need to wear that. And they said we just have it on in case the tourists come, so they feel comfortable. And but they said they knew it was all a lie, and so it's just to give you an example here from Egypt. And you know, even in the height of the corona scare, we saw very few masks. So you know, the people here more or less, they know what is going on with it. So I just wanted to share that with you to give you a perspective. And I just shared about Sweden, a post. You know, someone was in Sweden for 3 weeks and they don't see any masks, and you know, everyone is good and healthy because we all know exactly what it is and what's going on with it. So I can give you a little view around here. I'll turn the camera around. We're at a fruit stand. I do see one guy with a mask on, but it's very rare. It's just the ones that have the fear that wears the mask. So turn this around. Yeah, there we go. You can see. Here's Femke. Woo. We're just waiting to go out, but yeah, beautiful fruit stand and plenty of food here. It's been since we came. It's just lush. The streets need to be cleaned up. There was a lot of garbage here, and as you know, Cairo is perhaps one of the most dirtiest cities in the world, which needs to be cleaned up. And since we've been here, we're seeing efforts towards that. And you know, in the near future, you can see, see one guy with a mask down there, but there are times we don't see anyone with masks because they know deep in their heart they don't need it. So gentleman coming here with a little tyke and woo. So it's you know, turn this back. So no, it's been free here. The only reason, most of the reason I would say anyone in Egypt was wearing masks is just where they rely on the tourism, and where, you know, that started to open up for that to come back. You know, they wear masks because the tourists, and you know, ones usually with a lot of money or big money, which are the tourists, they are also in states of fear. We were on a bus trip. I wish to mention a bus trip to come back to Giza from Luxor about a week ago or so. And there was a lady. She sat across from me. She had a mask on, and she started spraying stuff all over the seat and wiping things all, wiping everything. And one of the agents of the bus, before we took off, the lady told him to tell me to put on a mask. We did not put on any masks, and towards the end of the bus trip, I saw she started taking it off. So I believe she got the picture, and I think, you know, on a bus that she might have been the only one wearing a mask, you know, out of a bus about 3/4 full. No one was wearing it, but she was, you know, in a high state of fear, wiping everything off that she touched. It was interesting to watch the state of of fear she had, and we did not interact with her. One of the main reasons at that low level of consciousness and that deep of fear, you cannot usually speak with these ones. So you just be the example, and that tends to work better when they see you're not wearing the mask. Then they'll take theirs off as well. So yeah, it's so I just wanted to share how many of the Egyptians that we have met, like, they're deep in their heart and they know and they trust God, and it's so good to see, and their values is very appreciative as well. And we've met a lot of Egyptians here in their hearts, and it's beautiful to see that. And it's so important because, as we know, that is the right place for everyone to be. And what I wish to say is that if it wasn't because of Egypt relied on tourism, I don't feel that you would see any masks here whatsoever. It's just because of the show for the tourism, and so I wish to say that. So there is a lot of common sense that is here in Egypt with this. So there was a great video. I think it had almost 5 million views from a lady in the UK, and perhaps most of you may have seen it, where she said her father died of Alzheimer's in the house, and they put COVID was the cause of death, and they knew it was not, and they had a relative or like that had died of a heart attack, and they put on COVID. And when you really get down to it, I don't really feel there's been any deaths really COVID, any deaths that occurred with flu-like symptoms. It was caused because of the stress and what we are seeing coming out of this. The governments, the ones in the governments, the individual ones within the governments as well, you're going to see if it needs to be huge accountability placed upon them for their actions. And one of the things is the huge false fear that they spread actually caused deaths. So you can say that gross negligence causing bodily harm and death is what occurred as a result of spreading such a fear. And also with this, you can see any medias that were employed as well, spreading the fear, if you will. I mean, everyone plays a part in contributing to unnecessary death, and that is kind of what they did. Now, with the higher divine reasoning of what's going on is, the people needs to stand up. So on the divine timeline, the mask wearing and locking everyone in houses and taking away their children and threatening it's what it divinely takes for the people to stand now. Because as we said, the crown chakra, the great consciousness awakening, occurs in about 1 month's time, and then we go in December to the giving the power back to the people to run the planet. So divinely, this is what's playing out, and nothing stops us. As we said before, the new monetary system by the people will be implemented. Now, in respect to the RV prosperity packages, these may only be there for a very short period, if they are at all. And the old Jacera, the way it was, that may not even be a part of the transition, meaning that we may jump that. Once the majority of the people upon the planet are awakened and are showing that they are awakened through the protests, well, then what we can quickly do is just take out the entire old economic systems and give everyone the liberation with temporary, comfortable incomes as we transition the entire globe very rapidly. So again, any of the old paradigm in the governments cannot exist if the majority of the people does not allow it. And just common sense, even for a child, can see the power of the people with the majority and what is good for all. So we're going to stamp out misery, lack, sickness, poverty. All of these things can be taken away an eye with money. Money created the problems, and the control of the money is what created it. So as we redistribute the control into the hands of all people of the earth, and we create unhinged, unlimitedly, without any debt and all these other monetary instruments, financial markets, it's not required. It's such a simple, basic economics that is foundationed on unlimited digital money, which is actually energy, and you don't need any asset-backed currencies or any of that. It's really just so simple, and with the technology upon the planet and the way that your banking systems are all set up, you know, in one day everything is in place, and with all the major world trade centers where all of the financial institutions are connected and everything is rooted and interconnected, in one day a new financial system can be here with most attached to it, and all you need is just a card for the system, and also with comfortable universal incomes to begin that are not attached to anything other than there will be the one condition to keep the economy going for anyone to receive, you know, their let's say very comfortable basic income. There will be a requirement of a minimum amount of hours, let's say a month, to be determined, or a week, like 3 or 4 hours, because again, once you have many being taken out of the irrelevant financial systems, it's not required that complexity any longer. And when you have them, and when you have the existing global unemployment rate, you can see very quickly that you do not require everyone working 30 hours a week, 40 hours a week. That, like, it's all nonsense. And what you do is have everyone sharing in, just working a few hours a week to keep going, and all the new technologies are introduced. And so also what you see is one's living more of their life. There's more enjoyment. The travel will increase globally, but it'll be by more green methods, if you will, as the new technology is very quickly released, and the non-use of fossil jet fuels will no longer be required as the new technology quickly replaces it. So, you know, a transition is happening. It is happening, and I anticipate by December it's going to be very good, and the people will be ready of the planet to fully lead, and they should be in places of power by then. Any leaders like you know, globally, Trump is out there, you know, going forward with some of the minor implications, but at this point, as well as with Putin, it is not enough. The people are outpacing it, meaning that they need to step it up, and Trump needs to step it up now when they speak about vaccines and uh, the wall and these sort of things. These are not part of the future, and it's a waste of time for ones to do that. And there will be no borders, and there will be open migration around the planet is what's going on. There will be no countries. There's mass amounts of land in the northern hemisphere as well as the southern hemisphere. There are for the population to disperse and exist and live comfortably. So what has been occurring more so noticeably since 2012, Gaia, because she's in a different area of space, has been tipping a little bit more her northern hemisphere to the sun, which extends the growing season. So you have what you could call a lot of land that was not able to be cultivated before is now becoming available. So, and not only that, you have the technologies with greenhouses that can, grow vast amount of foods, and with the hydroponics and new technologies, it's really so simple that the amount of food that can be grown on this planet can actually feed other planets. I mean, it's that lush. And not only that, with the technology. So all these things about shortage of food, that is all myth. And yeah, it's ridiculous and absurd to even see that or to even think that. Gaia is, in humanity, is nothing but prosperity. Once the ones that wanted to control it out of greed are taken out of place, and at this point they are subdued. All of their hands are tied. Every government in the world, they have no choice but to comply to the people. You'll see them there ashore running some things now, but that is very short-lived. And again, once all the people stand up, which they are doing, nothing can exist as it was. A recent report, for the Berlin protests has a few days ago 10 million people registered from many countries already, and that protest will be in a few days' time. But it's not only that one in Argentina. We heard of it all across Europe. We're seeing the UK stand up. Australia is going to be huge, and that is, I believe, in the beginnings now. And also New Zealand. New Zealand was, if you say any attempts by the darkness there, it's been with their quarantine measures, and even saying where they'll take the children or lock you up. I mean, that is the extreme divine measure to get the people to stand there, that they cannot no longer accept what governments are imposing upon them. And divinely, it's because it's the implosion and destruction of governments. They are no longer required in our new reality. There are what you call administrative committees is all that is required. So so everything is going towards that. So everything is not flying loose. There's actually a definite divine plan, and everything is being coordinated to support that and to converge to the full liberation for humanity. And as for, the lockdowns and these sort of things, that is not required at all to catch criminals. So it's not what it's about. It's about waking the people up and getting them to stand, because the support of the people needs to be there to support the new reality. And what better way by stripping them of all of their rights, down to nothing, so that they do stand. And that's what's required, and that's what's happening to be set up for December, where they take back their power and say no. And that's why these huge protests are so important. And also for the unawakened ones yet that are still in the fear, millions upon millions of people in the streets protesting, then the remnants of the darkness and the lower consciousness thought cannot say they're conspiracy theorists or that they're crazy. They have to say, hey, they know something or whatever for, 10 million, 20 million people in the streets. And so the old way of thinking and all of the people that don't believe what's happening, this important factor for the protesters to show that. And as I said, along with these protesting, giving the people the ability to take back their power and stand up, then we can lay on their table the new monetary system and the new economics. So everything is ingeniously and divinely orchestrated to this effect, and this is what's occurring. And many of you are straddling dual timelines, a duality, but many of you now, more and more each day, are also existing in a triality of, let's say, 3 timelines. You have the lowest timeline where the unawakened consciousness is, which you interact with daily. And then you have the next timeline up above that, where you are associating and interacting with the awakened one. But what you're also seeing is that that lower timeline, that many more now are awakening. You can go out, and once you begin asking questions or just engage in casual conversation, you will see that the knowing is on the street, that for example, that the COVID is a fake thing, and they'll know what's going on. And then you have the upper timeline, where you are creating your reality, and you know what you are. You have stepped in your divine authority. You know that the ascension is imminent, and that it is true, and that there is no doubt or no guesswork on what is happening upon the planet. You also know that you are different to the degree that you are sent here to do a mission, and you know what your mission is, and that is different from someone that is not awakened, obviously, and as you know. And you are the peers, you are the examples, you are the teachers to lead the others to be teachers and examples as well, as we keep taking everything forward. And the people, unawakened people of the planet, could not have done this ascension, and it took all of you, all of us, to do that, to do this, and to steer it. And it's been divinely assured. Stops it. For the darkness, the remnants of it, what is left, has to comply with us. Creator, prime creator, and us are omnipotent, and this is what it is. Once you step in there and you bring down your divine aspect right into these physical vessels, which you can now, you bring down more of your divine creative gifts, and you also bring down more of a control from you over this reality and assisting the ascension forward, and even expediting it is what we're doing. So everything is great, and keep busy every day, and it's just ongoing. This divine work is a 24/7 job, we can say, but it needs to be done. It's getting done. We are the ones to do it. And as I said, by December, what I was given, perhaps on the 22nd, 23rd of December, it is very possible to hear Creator's voice ring out all around Gaia from the skies. And yeah, you know how glorious that'll be. Then everyone will listen, and there will be no darkness any longer, and everyone will get along, and there will be prosperity, abundance, and there will be civility, where everyone is taken out of the nonsensical savagery in the least. And And so a great new world is here, and it keeps getting better and better. Keep doing what you're doing. All the digital soldiers, you're doing an amazing job at getting the truth out there, and everyone else now beginning to pitch in. It's expediting as more awakened. They see the truth, and they are sharing with friends, family, wherever, and it's having a great contagious effect in good ways at awakening everyone. Keep outdoors, keep getting your oxygen, your air. It helps evolve the bodies, and of course your sunlight. So time to stop. Yeah. So love you all, love and light, and yeah, we already did it. We're just playing out the roles. Have a great one. Thank you.